The Jujutsu Kaisen fandom has spent years crying over the fate of Gojo Satoru. People are still making 3-hour video essays claiming that Gege Akutami wrote himself into a corner and that Gojo dying to Ryomen Sukuna was the ultimate character assassination. But actually, every single one of those complaints is completely wrong. If you think Gojo's death was a plot hole, you are completely ignoring the 2,500-year-old theology that Jujutsu Kaisen is built upon. Because when you look at the actual religious subtext of this story, Gojo Satoru's failure wasn't just likely. It was a spiritual guarantee from the very first time he took off his blindfold. Today we are stepping away from the brain rot power scaling debates. We are going to look at why Gojo was trapped in a spiritual paradox, why his infamous awakening was actually a failure, and why his death is one of the most brilliant tragedies in modern fiction. Let's talk about the Samsara Trap. To understand why Gojo had to die, we first have to look at his peak. During the hidden inventory arc, Gojo unlocks the core of cursed energy after nearly being killed by Toji. He floats into the sky high on his own godhood and delivers the most famous line in the entire series. "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." Right now, you're probably thinking, yeah, that's the moment Gojo reached enlightenment. He became a god. How does this prove that he was meant to fail? Here is what almost nobody talks about. That line is a direct quote from the historical Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, spoken right after his birth. But when the Buddha said it, it was a declaration of universal interconnectedness. It meant that every soul, every piece of the universe is equally honored and divine. It was a statement of ultimate selfless love. When Gojo says it, he is dripping in his own blood, completely ignoring the fact that his best friend is suffering and high on the euphoria of his untouchable power. Gojo didn't reach true Buddhist enlightenment in that moment. He reached the absolute apex of human ego. And in the Buddhist philosophy, ego is the exact thing that keeps you trapped in a cycle of suffering. In Buddhism, there is a concept called samsara. It is the endless, agonizing cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth. You are kept inside this cycle by your earthly attachments, your desires, your regrets, your anger, and your love. Now think about the magic system of Jujutsu Kaisen. What is cursed energy? It is literal, weaponized human emotion. It is born from grief, hatred, and attachment. Cursed energy is samsara. To achieve true enlightenment or nirvana, you must sever all earthly attachments. You have to stop caring about the physical world. This is the reason Sukuna is so terrifyingly powerful. Sukuna is the only character in the series who actually achieved a dark, twisted version of nirvana. He severed all attachments. He doesn't care about love. He doesn't care about his followers. He doesn't care about the past or the future. He exists purely to consume. He transcended the human cycle by becoming a natural disaster. Yet, everyone expected Gojo to beat him. But Gojo could never beat Sukuna because Gojo was suffering from the Liberator's dilemma. Gojo wanted to be a god, but he refused to give up his humanity. Gojo's entire motivation is his students. He wants to foster a generation of strong allies so he doesn't have to be alone anymore. He deeply, desperately loves his students. He still grieves the loss of Suguru Geto. Gojo is tethered to the earth by love. And because he is tethered by love, he is tethered to samsara. He is bound to the cursed cycle. he couldn't be the one to save the world because he was the absolute pinnacle of the old world. That's why he had to lose. But that's not even the most brilliant part of Gege's writing. The real tragedy, the moment that proves this entire theory as a fact, happens in the afterlife. When chapter 236 dropped, the internet completely melted down. People were furious that Gojo was sitting in an airport smiling, praising Sukuna, instead of worrying about his students. If I were you, the thing that would be biggest on my mind right now is, if Gojo loved his students so much, why didn't he mention them in his dying moments? The answer is going to change how you view this entire series. In Buddhism, the moment of death is the final test of detachment. The airport is a literal representation of the bardo, the transitional state between death and rebirth. When Gojo is sitting in that airport, he isn't abandoning his students. He is finally, for the first time in his life, letting go of his burdens. He is accepting his death. Notice what happens in the dialogue. Haibara and Nanami talk about the concept of going north to discover a new version of yourself, or going south to return to who you used to be. This is a direct reference to the Buddhist idea of rebirth. Gojo doesn't mention his students because his students represent his earthly attachments. By letting them go, trusting that they will surpass him, Gojo Satoru finally breaks his own curse. He didn't die a loser, he died a human. By losing to Sukuna, Gojo destroyed the concept of the strongest. He proved that a single, godlike figure cannot save the world. It requires the interconnectedness of the next generation to finally break the wheel of samsara. Gege Akutami didn't write himself into a corner. He wrote a 250-chapter philosophical tragedy about a man who was cursed with the power of a god, but had the heart of a teacher. We wanted Gojo to be a hero who killed the villain and saved the day. But instead, Gege gave us a story about a man who had to die so that the world could finally save itself. That isn't bad writing. That is a masterpiece. But of course, that is just how we analyze things from down here in South Africa. I want to hear from you guys. Does this Buddhist perspective change how you view chapter 236? Or do you still think Gojo got robbed? Does Sukuna's dark enlightenment make him the best villain in modern shonen? Drop your hottest takes in the comments below. I know this one is gonna start a fire, and I'm here for it. If you appreciate anime analysis that actually respects your intelligence, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so that you don't miss the next deep dive. Until next time, stay on it. Post video chat if you're still looking for some more Jujutsu Kaisen ideological breakdowns. I kind of go through the parallels between the cog mentality of Yuji Sukuna's ultimately dark philosophy, I could say, and some of the ideas expressed in Islamic philosophy, mainly to do with the nafs, or the proclivities of the self. If you're keen to check that out, it's this video here floating in front of you. Bless.